Introducing a completely redesigned experience that you can sense. And that senses you. The new Dell Latitude laptops bring your work closer to you.
Tonight, a Southport man comes face to face with a car-stealing criminal. A truckie survives a deadly hinterland road crash. His warning to other drivers in a 9 News exclusive. A grandmother breaks her leg in a car park dispute at Elanora. Council puts new time limits on street parking. And the man behind the dog, huge in Hollywood, makes plans on the coast.
Live from 50 Cavill Avenue, Surfers Paradise, this is 9 Gold Coast News with Paul Taylor.
Good evening. A 19-year-old has today been denied bail after allegedly going on a car-stealing spree across the coast. Let's go live to Jessica Warboys now. Jess, one alleged victim came face-to-face with the man.
Scott Davey tried to stop the man who allegedly stole his car, Paul, as it was being backed out of the driveway over the weekend. Now, as you can see in these pictures, Scott running out in his underwear, trying with all his might to open the door, but with the windows up and the doors locked, his beloved Porsche was taken. Officers say the man who stole it was Sam Suifaga, a huge flick knife allegedly found on the passenger seat when the vehicle was recovered. The 19-year-old only recently released from jail and on probation for similar offending. Scott sitting in court today as Suifaga's application for bail was denied.
Great result. The police were fantastic for the whole thing. That rap sheet, there was no way that guy was getting out. So.
Paul, the magistrate agreed with the prosecution that Suifaga posed an unacceptable risk of reoffending. He's facing numerous charges, including unlawful use of motor vehicles and enter premises and commit.
Yeah, thank you, Jess. A police officer, grandmother and her 2 grandchildren have all been discharged from hospital after a serious crash which shut down the M1 on Friday. The marked police car was stopped on the side of the motorway performing traffic duties when it was hit by a ute at Helensvale. A number of witnesses observing the ute swerving across lanes before the crash. Officers are now investigating exactly what caused the collision, but say they aren't ruling out a medical episode and will interview the driver soon. And police are looking for witnesses or dash cam footage after a motorbike rider was seriously injured in a crash at Mudgeeraba. It's believed the 19-year-old male rider collided with a Toyota Prado on the Gold Coast Springbrook Road just after 10 a.m. The 18-year-old Prado driver was treated at the scene and is helping police with their investigations. A man who survived a horror truck crash on Tamborine Oxenford Road has spoken exclusively to 9 News about the traumatic experience of losing his leg. He wants the road upgraded after fellow truck driver and father, James Kelly, was killed behind the wheel last week.
Pinned against the dash inside a crushed cab. These should have been Brendan Topless's final moments.
I made peace with everything because I knew I was probably going to die.
His truck brakes failing down Tamborine Oxenford Road in February.
I remember the driver door swung open and the windscreen exploded into a million pieces. It felt like it was a million years I was stuck there, but it was 1 hour I was trapped in that truck for.
A scrum of trauma surgeons waiting for him at Gold Coast University Hospital. They were able to save his life, but not his left leg. Now suffering from a broken heart as well as he hears of the death of Brisbane truckie and father James Kelly, who lost his life on Tuesday on the same stretch of road.
So I wonder how many people have to die before something gets done or changed.
We need to progress these ideas that Main Roads has actually got to actually make these roads safer, because we can't have high volumes of traffic on this type of road. It is a mountain road.
The state government extending its condolences in a statement which says it will urgently review road conditions and any opportunities for improvement. Bronte, Gildea, 9 Gold Coast News.
A man's been charged with assaulting a grandmother in an Elanora school car park, leaving her with a head injury and a broken leg. Yasmin Bennell has the details.
It's here police allege the woman was verbally abused before being pushed to the ground after an altercation erupted when she opened her car door. It's understood she accidentally hit the man's vehicle as she was getting out of the car, sparking the violent rage.
During the dispute, this male has pushed the female over. She sustained an injury to her head and also a broken leg as a direct result of being pushed over.
The woman had just arrived at Eleanor State School to watch her grandchildren in a dance competition, but she never got to see it.
QAS and ambulance attended the scene. She was taken to the Robina Hospital and treated for injuries.
Her daughter posting a photo of the alleged offender to a Facebook community page, calling for witnesses to come forward. The 43-year-old man has been charged with grievous bodily harm and will face Coolangatta Magistrates Court on July 1.
Accused killer Justin Stein will need to wait until at least tomorrow before he is delivered his verdict by a Supreme Court jury. Stein's standing trial accused of killing 9-year-old Tweed Heads girl Charlize Mutton and dumping her body in 2022. The jury having an extra day's break for the New South Wales King's birthday public holiday. Stein has pleaded not guilty. On Friday afternoon, police task force responded to a report about weapons and explosives discovered in Southport bushland. Officers identified 2 pipe bombs and called in the explosive ordnance response team, which safely neutralised the devices.
Due to the location of where the items were found, no members of the public were in harm. A thorough search was conducted of the surrounds and no other weapons or explosives were located.
A 49-year-old local man is currently being questioned by police. Let's go live now to McKenna Bailey. And McKenna, council's introduced some parking changes around Mermaid Beach.
New time limits ranging between 1 and 2 hours have been introduced, Paul, due to light rail stage 3 construction. Now, council, the state government and GoldLink have made the decision to impose these changes around Mermaid Beach, with side streets between Sunbright Avenue and Marquerie Street to be impacted. Due to ongoing works, the Gold Coast Highway southbound has been reduced to a single lane, ultimately taking up valuable parking in the popular suburb, which is driving down visitation to local businesses. For those parking longer than permitted, you can expect to see a $103 infringement notice, increasing to $108 from July 1. We can also expect further parking changes to side streets to be announced in the coming weeks. Paul, once construction is complete, council says parking will be reinstated.
Thank you for the update, McKenna. The once troubled Lemur Tower project at Main Beach is now back on track. A significant win by the Sydney developers, who bought the site for $12.4 million. That's after they were knocked back by the City Council in December 2021. With construction to begin within a month, the 27-floor luxury tower marks a fresh start after years of planning and approval challenges. Every day, Gold Coast heroes have been recognised in this year's King's Birthday Honours. The front line topping the list, featuring firefighters and paramedics, totalling more than a century of service between them.
Scott Morgan's just marked 43 years in the Queensland Fire Service and now has even more to celebrate. Today awarded the highest honour in his field.
Well, very humbled, really. It's great to be recognised.
The long-serving inspector, the lead investigator in the 1984 Honda showroom fire, which claimed the lives of 2 firefighters.
I was involved with the United Firefighters Union at the time, and I wrote the report. It was 30 years this year, so yeah, it was a very tough time for us all.
The inquest leading to safety upgrades for those on the front line. Fellow firefighter Dean Tucker also receiving an Australian Fire Service Medal for coordinating response efforts in Queensland's recent floods.
We've got some really high skilled swiftwater rescue technicians, and it's been a real pleasure to lead them.
Also making the King's Birthday Honours list, paramedic Rachel Latimer.
So I'm a second generation paramedic. My dad was in the ambulance service for 35 plus years. I basically grew up in the ambulance families.
Breaking the glass ceiling as the first female paramedic stationed at Southport and Beaudesert, now serving for 36 years.
Rewarding beyond words.
Our dedicated teachers also topping the list for their combined decades of service to music and education, alongside some other worthy and well-deserving Gold Coast changemakers. McKenna Bailey, 9 Gold Coast News.
Yeah, congratulations to all. Doors shut, a popular store goes into administration, leaving customers without furniture. Meet the man behind the dog, huge in Hollywood. And we've got all that rocked rolling into Cooley for the biggest festival yet.
Caught on camera, a man blows up his own home. New warning for parents. Social media is shrinking your kids' brains. Widow of TV doctor pays tribute to him from Greece. Supermarkets now limiting how many eggs you can buy. Plus, very cheap electric cars coming to Queensland. 9 News at 6.
9 Gold Coast News, brought to you by Gem Life Gold Coast. Resort style living for the over 50s. Experience the Gem Life difference.
An Australian furniture chain with 15 stores, including on the Gold Coast, is in administration, leaving hundreds of Johnny's Furniture customers without products, some so angry that a disturbance at the Bundle showroom occurred. Former Wallabies Anthony and Saya Fianga are expanding their business interest into supercars. The twins partnering with local racing company Premier Newlon ahead of the Indigenous round in Darwin. One of 2 Camaros unveiled at SeaWorld showing their personal livery.
It represents for us respect, unity, connection, and that connection back to community.
The boys say they'd love a drive, but are happy just being passengers at the moment. The music, the cars and those swirling skirts bringing the rock era to life. Cooley rocks on, having its biggest weekend ever, with record numbers enjoying the nostalgic festival.
Rock and roll is here to stay.
Thinking about simpler times and simpler memories, and we all want to embrace what it was like in the 1950s and 60s along the coastline of the Gold Coast.
New generations revved up.
A lot of that younger crew coming through that still are all about that nostalgia, but they just put a different spin on it.
Over 160,000 music fans soaking in the atmosphere at this year's Cooley Rocks On. The festival injecting $18 million over the past 3 years.
The people, the stories, the music, yeah, the vibe.
Of course, there's the dancing where it's always about the skirt. Not forgetting the cars, all 900 of them, from sizzling hot rods to the compact go-go-mobiles and more modern models. It wouldn't be Cooley Rocks without a collection of kings, Elvis at every age. The pin-ups keeping the crowd mesmerised, but don't be fooled, these gorgeous gals can hold their own.
I'm an industrial sparky, so I'm not afraid to get my hands dirty. Having my car here, it feels so unbelievable at the moment.
Katrina Zaffa.
Thank you very much.
9 Gold Coast News.
What a weekend. Well, he was huge in Hollywood. Now, can the man behind the dog, Wilfred, make a hit show here on the Gold Coast? And Bronte, in sport, Olympic dreams could be made tonight.
A ticket to Paris awaits our country's best swimmers, Paul, with the Aussie trials underway in Brisbane. Coming up, all the highlights on day 1 ahead of finals tonight. And losses all round for our Gold Coast footy teams, with the Rabbitohs rolling the Titans and the Suns robbed against St Kilda.
Caught on camera, a man blows up his own home. New warning for parents. Social media is shrinking your kids' brains. Widow of TV doctor pays tribute to him from Greece. Supermarkets now limiting how many eggs you can buy. Plus, very cheap electric cars coming to Queensland. 9 News at 6.
Intuitive, capable, and above all, intelligent. The Ford Escape is fearlessly designed and makes every day effortless.
Three years of early mornings and brutal pool sessions are coming to a head in Brisbane, where Australian swimming's Olympic trials have kicked off today. Gold Coasters in form on day 1, with 3 Griffith Uni products starring during heats.
No waiting around for the big names in action. Ariane Titmus first in the water.
She's the swimmer that the nation has been looking to watch all this week as we head towards Paris.
Winning Heat 1 of the women's 400 metres freestyle, a Gold Coaster spearheading Heat 2.
So it's a quick fire start.
Lani Pallister qualifying second fastest behind Titmus for tonight's final, with the Golden Girls of Australian swimming shining in Brisbane.
Another classy performance by one of the greats. Kaylee into the wall and does it comfortably, 2:11.98.
Kaylee McEwen cruising through the 200 metres individual medley, while in the 100 metres butterfly, Emma McKeon flying.
Look at the time. It's a quick time, 56.75.
McKeon, McEwen and Pallister all hoping to book their tickets to Paris this evening. All the action from the first night of finals, exclusive, live and free, right here on 9 from 7:30. Matthew Simpicus, 9 Gold Coast News.
The Titans remain above the Bunnies on the ladder, but only because of their for and against, beaten by their fellow cellar dwellers over the weekend. Despite David Fafita's best efforts to inspire Gold Coast, Cody Walker and the Rabbitohs ran riot in Robina.
I'm not going to say we were flat, because we just come off a bye and they've come off a bye as well. We were just off.
A disappointing round 14 for our local Queensland Cup sides as well, with both the Bears and Seagulls losing away from home. Rugby League stalwart Steph Hancock won't return to the Titans in 2024. 9 News understands the 42-year-old will continue playing in the NRLW with the Dragons. Hancock was an inaugural signing for Gold Coast, making 22 appearances over the past 3 seasons. The AFL concedes a late free kick called against Suns defender Mac Andrews should not have been paid, which ultimately cost Gold Coast victory against St Kilda.
It was clearly, in my view, a free kick that was unwarranted. It's a tough. Those guys are battling all day. I just think, the umpire calls it, that's his job, but unwarranted for mine.
Adding to the Suns' sorrows, it's the club's 6th loss on the road this season, meaning Gold Coast remains winless away from home. Paul, brutal way to end that game. So brutal.
Speechless. Oh, well. There's always next week.
There is.
That's a terrible saying.
There's actually a bye this week.
There's not always next week. Next, I see a man about a dog who made it big in Hollywood.
Lakes after a cracking weekend across the coast. How long will this magic weather last, though? We'll have all the details of full weather and beach and surf report coming up next.
9 Gold Coast News, brought to you by Gem Life Gold Coast. Resort-style living for the over 50s. Experience the Gem Life difference.
Caught on camera, a man blows up his own home. New warning for parents. Social media is shrinking your kids' brains. Widow of TV doctor pays tribute to him from Greece. Supermarkets now limiting how many eggs you can buy. Plus, very cheap electric cars coming to Queensland. 9 News at 6.
9 Gold Coast News Weather Report, proudly brought to you by Skyring. Become a Skyringer and get more bang for your buck.
The man behind Australia's most successful sitcom to ever air in the US wants to do it again. I caught up with him back home on the Gold Coast to find out about his latest project.
Remember Wilfred?
No, that is foul snooker.
Explain to me what a foul snooker is.
I shouldn't have to explain it to you.
The quirky little Aussie show on SBS. It got the Hollywood treatment and made it big in Tinseltown.
You're a regular Scooby-Doo. Ah! What the hell? That's the most racist character ever created. Ruh-roh. Who talks like that?
So we went for 49 episodes. We did 4 seasons there. We, did attract, Elijah Wood from Lord of the Rings, Robin Williams as a guest star.
Not since Mork and Mindy had Oscar winner Williams acted on TV.
All the pain, all the questions without answers, gone with the flip of a switch.
He'd been on Letterman and stuff, but it was his first acting on TV because he'd gone on to win, done films.
Gann's now back home with a fresh project.
This show really is about dreams, big, small and impossible. But just, if you don't dream, you die, And so that's really what it's about.
But this time, the Gold Coast will be the star.
So even though this show has a diverse and exciting, eccentric cast ensemble of characters, probably the most exciting character is the Gold Coast itself.
Location scouting's underway. Shooting should begin in August.
Yeah, we wish him luck too. Here's Melissa now with what's coming up on 9 News at 6.
Thanks, Paul. Coming up in just a few minutes, exclusive, a small army of thieves ram stolen cars in a southeast crime wave. The moment a man blows up his own home. New warning for parents, social media shrinking kids' brains. The supermarkets now limiting how many eggs you can buy. The very cheap but high-tech electric cars coming to the Gold Coast. How to avoid the July 1 internet price hike. And we pay special tribute to Gibbo, a legendary Queensland king of kids TV.
Plus, join me for the Australian
Australian Olympic swimming trials.
All those stories, plus the rest of today's breaking news, coming up right after Luke's local weather. See you then.
Switch on a Daikin Alira X split system with advanced streamer technology to remove more than 99% of harmful indoor air pollutants and surround yourself with cleaner air this summer. Daikin, perfecting the air.
And here he is right now, Luke Bradnam with the forecast tonight. Luke, I think I've been saying it on repeat. It's been magic. How long will it last?
How good is it, PT? It's too good of a day for a Monday today, but we did get that cracking weekend as well. I'm happy to say it's hanging with us right the way through for the week. Have a look at the 7-day outlook in just a moment. It's a 10 out of 10 stunner, as it was today. Have a look at this from offshore. The whales out and about, and how spectacular. Gold Coast dive out snorkelling with the humpbacks. How good is that? Look at that water visibility, and SeaWorld whale cruisers out and about today as well. The big boys putting on a show, showing off as they head up north at the moment. Perfect conditions out there today. If you look at the SkyPoint weather cam from this morning, if I had any complaint about today, just to get nitpicky, a little bit of cloud cover around this morning. It did clear this afternoon, but other than that, it was just a great day. Pretty cool though. Top just dropped down to 8 degrees this morning for Coolangatta and in the west. Daytime temps up around 22 degrees, which is bang on average. Right now here at beautiful Emerald Lakes, it's 17 degrees. The feels like temperature just 14. Tomorrow's weather map shows another great day on the way, not just for us on the GC, but for our entire state. 22 the top again tomorrow and dropping down tonight to 11. And there's that 7-day outlook I talked about. How good is it? Wednesday we might have to put up with a few clouds, but a warmer top of 24 degrees. Sunshine for Thursday, mostly sunny for Friday, and a great looking weekend on the way as well. For the board riders, she's pretty slim pickings down there at the moment. It's like a lake. It's so good though. The water temp's beautiful at 22 degrees. The swell will increase slightly tomorrow. Southerly winds around in the morning, dropping off in the afternoon. Anywhere on the beaches tomorrow will be a good one. Offshore for the boaties, the longer you leave it, the better it will get. And high tide tomorrow, guys, just around midday. But more cracking weather on the way, PT. You've got to love winter on the Gold Coast.
We live in paradise, Luke, that is for sure. Thank you for that. Well, that's your local news for this Monday. We do love hearing your stories. You can contact us via our social media pages. See you at 5:30 tomorrow. In the meantime, here's Andrew and Melissa. Good night.